Good morning, my name is Lisa Daisel. I'm from the Unisa Directorate for Counselling and Career Development. A very warm welcome this morning to our session about planning or final year planning. We will be welcoming colleagues from Unisa, talking to you about the postgraduate study options, as well as the speaker that we have to talk about planning in your final year of study for your career. I'm going to welcome a colleague of mine, Mrs. Mandu Makanya. She's just going to introduce us to the topic as well as our speakers. Thank you, Mandu.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me pleasure this morning to welcome our speakers for the day. The first speaker for the day today will be Ms. Penelope Ngcobo, and well known at Unisa by Penny. She is an acting manager in the College of Graduate Studies, Masters and Doctoral Administration Section. This is a department that is responsible for applications, admissions, and registrations of masters and doctoral programs. She has a wealth of experience in the administration sphere, as she has been in this field of work for over 20 years, and she is loving it. And ladies and gentlemen, Penny will be taking us through to what we need to know when we have to prepare for registration in the master's and doctoral fields. And she is not alone, but she is accompanied by a colleague who will be assisting as well on the Q&A section, Ms. Lindy Madiseng. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Ms. Penny Ngcobo. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you, Makanya, for the introduction, and thank you very much to colleagues for inviting us to be part of this wonderful event where we explain to students out there and the prospective students how Unisa works. And as we do this, we look forward to receiving applications from all spheres in terms of the students that we have, which would be the existing students and the new ones. As indicated already, we are from the Masters and Doctoral section within Unisa, where we process applications, admissions, and registrations of Masters and Doctoral students. The presentation that I have can be shared with students at a later stage, should it be required. I will go through it so that you understand what is required of you as you apply with Unisa. Remember, if you embark on a Masters and Doctoral study, this is a life-changing experience, both for your career and personal growth, by the way. So approaching it correctly will help. We compile such presentations so that students can find it easy or manageable to do all these applications, as most of our applications are online. The guidelines below will ensure a problem-free online application and registration experience. You need to access the internet in order for you to apply for a master's and doctoral qualification, because all applications are conducted online. We do not have counters or self-help stations at any of the regional offices for masters and doctoral students. What we have there are colleagues that will give you a guidance of where you need to go. Unfortunately for students, they will not be able to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. Thus, we promote that one has a laptop to do this, or go to the nearest internet cafe in order for that to happen. The administration is handled in Pretoria. We do have colleagues that are assisting in Florida. However, 90% of the administration is done in Pretoria. You can contact us. We have an email, which is M&DD, which stands for Master and Doctoral at unisa.ac.za. If you need any assistance, we've picked up that when students go online and they're applying, sometimes they encounter difficulties, so the email is solely to assist with that. Students applying or registering for MBA, MBL, and DBL must directly inquire with SBL on the relevant email address, which is sblmbl@unisa.ac.za or sblmba@unisa.ac.za. sbl.unisa.ac.za, and for doctoral it is sbl.dbl@unisa.ac.za. Students who obtain their qualifications outside the borders of South Africa it is a must moving forward with the 2023 applications that you have a South African Qualifications Authority certificate of evaluation. This is very, very important because without it, we will not be able to assist you. Please also note that we do not have fax or postal or self-help. Again, I insist on this so that I emphasize on this so that our prospective students understand that if they go for a self-help assistance, they will not get it at any of our regional office. The best thing for you is to go and visit our website. If you are an existing student and you need to register for the same qualification, just note that you do not need to go and do a reapplication. You just proceed with your registration. Administrative and qualification information for 2023 is now available on our Unisa website. That is your research focus areas and the qualifications that you would like to apply for. Fees for registrations will only be available at the end of 2022. So if you go and you try and source a quotation of fees on our website, unfortunately it will not be available. It's only available later in the year. Next slide, Unisa application process. Application for admission for a master's and doctoral degree comprises of 3 steps. You first have to apply for a student number and pay the application fee. This applies to students who have never studied a formal qualification with Unisa. You will be required to reapply for a student number. If you've done a short course, that student number will not work if you are applying for a master's or doctoral degree. The second step would be to apply for admission after you have acquired a student number. And if you already have a student number, step 1 for you would be that, applying for admission. The third step would be to upload the compulsory supporting documents. Unisa will accept applications based on the following criteria: the suitability and availability of the intended research, adequate supervisory capacity and research expertise in the discipline or department, approved selection procedure in line with Unisa's policy on equality and diversity. Colleagues, fellow students and prospective students, please note that when you go to our website where you read more about the research focus areas, it will show you that sometimes they have a capacity to admit 5 or 8 students. That's what it's talking about when it indicates capacity or expertise. So it will guide you so that you see that if you apply, you need to make sure that the research focus area that you submit speaks to you being admissible. It is very important. The first step is apply online for a student number. Visit the Unisa website for the qualification information, admission requirements, selection criteria, and focus areas available for each qualification. You select I don't know what just happened. Am I still audible, colleagues?
Yes, Penny, apologies for that. You can continue. I just noticed that your slides are not moving, so I'm just projecting from my side, so I'll move with you as you present.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure why, because I did a slideshow, but thank you for that, Lisa.
Thank you, Penny.
Thank you. You apply online for a student number by visiting our website and sourcing the qualification information, admission requirements, selection criteria, and focus areas are available for each qualification. That is where you will see what is required of you if you want to apply for a master's degree, or what is required of you if you want to apply for a D. All that information is available on the website. Select the qualification you would like to apply for. It will tell you a lot of information that you require. Who must apply for Unisa student number? You must apply for a Unisa student number if you have never before studied towards a formal qualification at Unisa. As I've indicated before, student numbers issued for Unisa short learning programs are not valid for formal qualifications. Your formal Unisa student number will be your permanent Unisa student number. This means that if you've applied, say, 2 years ago for a different qualification and you want to apply now, for still a formal qualification, which would be your master's or doctoral degree, that is the student number you will use, but not a non-formal one. If you are applying for admission to a graduate school of business leadership, which is School of Business Leadership in Midrand qualification, please apply for Unisa student number unless you previously studied at Unisa towards a formal qualification. If you are applying for admission to a selection degree that is administered by the academic department, you must apply for a Unisa student number if you have never before studied towards a formal qualification at Unisa. The cohort of students that we are talking about are students that apply for qualifications that have we regard as selection degrees. We'll get to that slide where they are listed and you can see which ones they are. An application for Unisa student number is not an application for admission to a qualification. Please note that it is very important. It doesn't mean after you've applied for a student number, you are done with an application for admission. How to apply for Unisa student number? You go online, as I've indicated already, you go to applications.unisa.ac.za and pay the non-refundable application fee. At this stage, I think we are still on 120. Your application for a student, that is in rands. Your application for a student number will only be finalized upon receipt of the non-refundable application fee. You upload your identity document or passport or birth certificate when you do the application for a student number. An application, this is very important, an application for a student number is not an application for admission to a qualification. Please note that and make sure that you understand that part. Applications online will open from the 14th of September to the 11th of November 2022. This is for the 2023 intake. Students applying for qualification with the College of Science, Engineering and Technology, excluding the School of Computing, the MSc in Nature Conservation and qualifications in the Department of Decision Sciences may apply online for admission outside of the prescribed application dates. It means that already these qualifications are open online for students to apply should they wish to. If you are waiting for your final exam results or you are about to write your exam now in September, October, you are more than welcome to apply, especially if you are a final year student. You will apply. We have a system that we use that is in place to cater for those students, even though we are still waiting for their results. Selection degree students must note the different application open and closing dates because as indicated before, they are not the same. Before you apply for admission for a selection qualification, prepare your research outline in line with the departmental requirements based on one of the focus areas available. This excludes MBL, MBA, and MCom in Industrial Psychology, which is a coursework, and LLM. We have on our website also, this brochure is also on our website, by the way, prospective students and current students, where if you need guidelines on how to write a research outline that is compulsory, you can go and see, source that information to see how to compile an acceptable research outline. You must have a digital copy of the following documents available when you make an application, because these must be uploaded separately when you do the upload of documents after you've done the application. We require an official academic record indicating completion of your qualification. Apologies for that. Official academic record indicating the completion of your qualification for all previous academic qualifications. This is not required for Unisa students. If you studying with Unisa currently, it is not necessary for you to give us these qualifications because they're already on our database, so we can source them. All you have to do when you do an application online is to indicate you're a Unisa student, the year you studied with us, when you completed. If you are still busy, you are a final year student, you indicate as such. The platform allows you to do that. You can just indicate the year of completion on that platform. An identity document and a passport document or birth certificate is required as form of identification. A research outline. This excludes MBL, MBA, MCom in Industrial Psychology coursework and coursework LLM students. A SAQA certificate of evaluation if your qualifications have been obtained outside the borders of South Africa. Even if you're a South African student, if you studied a qualification outside the borders of our country, we require you to have a SAQA certificate of evaluation. The departmental questionnaire, this varies from one department to other. At this stage, it's only two colleges that require this. It's the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, and for the professional MCom in Industrial Psychology coursework qualification. there's a departmental questionnaire. It is available on the website. If you go to that qualification as indicated before, the information next to each qualification will give you the info that you require or the required documents of that particular qualification. Students applying in the College of Science, Engineering and Technology must contact the department prior to applying in order to find a suitable supervisor who will provide a letter of confirmation. In this instance, colleagues, there is a link if you go to the Science, Engineering, Technology platform of who you can contact in order to acquire this letter, because without it, unfortunately, they will not be able to assist you. Remember, they open right through the year. The reason for that is because they know that if a student comes to them prior to applying, they will be able to indicate whether they have available a supervisor or not for that particular research focus area that the student will be interested in. And we require a CV where it is indicated on a focus area that it is required as a document. We also require proof of registration as a social worker if you apply for your qualification in the Department of Social Work. All documents indicated in red when you are requested to upload your documents are compulsory for that specific qualification. As indicated before, fellow students and prospective, note that each qualification would have different documents that they require. So it is there to guide you so that you can see which ones are relevant to your particular qualification of interest. So note that when you go and you read through the document, our online platform in relation to the qualification you want to apply for. Academic departments have different dates on which selection for master's and doctoral qualifications will take place. Most of them would respond earlier. You know, as applications are open from September to November, they will start responding until December. But most of them give us the final responses because they sit and select these students, and they prefer to receive the whole pool of applications. Students get to be informed around the middle of February and the beginning of March, because most of the time we would start receiving these the first week of February. So then we start communicating these outcomes. No late applications will be considered if you submit an incomplete application, that is without the necessary supporting documents. We do give students, we are lenient because we give them 10 working days to upload these documents, the supporting documents that are required per a qualification that you will be applying for. Please note that no documentation will be accepted after the closing date for applications. Please note this, because we encounter a problem where students will come back to us and say, I did upload it, but we do not have record of it. As indicated before, I have given you an email that you can communicate via, which is mnd@unisa.ac.za. Should you maybe upload your documents and just want to confirm and verify with us if we have received them, to avoid any disappointments, please do that, because we do not, I repeat, we do not accept documents that are sent via email. They need to be uploaded on our website. You will receive confirmation of successful application from the M&D address if you are a new student, your personal email address. But if you are existing, please note that our system will tell us that you are an existing student, and as a result, it would mean you have to use your My Life email address. Should you wish to apply for any of the following degrees, please note the following exceptions. It is the selection degrees that I've already spoken to, so I will gladly just go back so that we can highlight them. As indicated before, that I will take you to those so that you can know which ones they are. But there are still rules that apply, same as the other ones. You are required to apply for a student number during the prescribed application period. You submit your application to the relevant department before the closing date specified for the particular degree. Selection degrees follow a different application process to Unisa. To Unisa's other master's and doctoral qualifications, unless indicated otherwise. If you go to the particular qualification as I've indicated before, it will guide you. It will tell you what is required of that particular qualification. The degrees that we were referring to is a doctoral degree in consulting psychology. It opens closing date for the following academic year. It opens 30th September and closes the 5th of November. There are details of who you can refer that application to, and please note our website also has this information. Masters of Arts in Clinical Psychology coursework as well. It opens 15th May, 30th June 2022, and the name of the lady that is responsible is there, and the email address as well. Master's degree in Industrial Psychology coursework as well. It opens 16 August. It will close 16 September 2022. You can apply online for admission for this qualification. Master of Education in Education Management coursework, it opens 8 September, 15th October 2022. You can also apply online for this particular qualification. The difference is that the closing date is not the same as our standard one, which is the 14th of November. And we have indicated the access the information and application forms on our website. There is a website there. As indicated already, this information is already on our website. If you go and you click on the link, it will take you to the relevant document that you will require. To register for 2023, only students whose applications for admission were approved or re-registering students who made sufficient progress during the current academic year. Those are the only students who will be allowed to register online with the approved registration period for 2023. We do not accept printed registration forms. Thus, we indicate and emphasize that all this can happen online. Our registration opens 9th January 2023 and it will close 31st March 2023, except MBL, MBA and MCOMT. Those close the 17th of February. Please note those exceptions if you're interested in those qualifications. We also indicate a link there to visit the Unisa study to register within the prescribed dates. I repeat, should you get stuck with any of these links or something is not working the way you are expecting it to, we have that mnd@unisa.ac.za email address. Please use it. We have people that are designated to attend to it on a daily basis so that we make sure that we attend to the students' inquiries. The turnaround there during busy periods it can be up to 48 hours. So please bear with us and make sure that you adhere and understand that if you have not received anything within the 48 hours, you will definitely receive it, because we find ourselves in a position where a student will send more than one, or they would go to an extent of sending 10 emails. If you do that, you keep on putting yourself lower and lower on the list by so doing. So if you send one email and you're patient enough, we'll definitely get back to you. As indicated before, most of these inquiries are attended to within 48 hours. If you receive an error message during the registration process, click on the Submit to Advisor button. There's no need to send an email for this one, and contact you. We will definitely contact you. Your registration will only be finalized upon receipt of your study fees. The fees must be received before the closing date. This is important because if we receive them outside of the registration date, unfortunately, we will not be able to assist you. Once you are registered, claim your free My Life address if you are a new student. After registration, Unisa will only communicate with you via your My Life email address. Once you are registered, a contact person or supervisor in the relevant department will be assigned to you. You will find guidelines on how to liaise and communicate with the relevant person. And you will also find guidelines on how to prepare the research proposal that you will be starting with when you do your master's before you get your dissertation or thesis level. Look under the resources in the specific department. My Unisa is Unisa's online student portal. So please use that and make sure that you understand and are assisted accordingly. If you don't register for your approved qualification for 2023 academic year, you will need to apply for the 2024 academic year. This means that if we have admitted you for the 2023 academic year and for one reason or the other, you are not able to, do not assume that you were admitted the previous year and just go online the next academic year and register. You have to reapply. Remember, I've indicated already that we allocate people that assist you, which would be your supervisor that assists you with your studies. So if you are not able to register for that particular year, we unfortunately allocate someone else to that supervisor, which would mean the slot that you had secured the previous year is no longer available for you. So please note that. We have a number of master's and doctoral quick links that you can go through. Just make sure that when you go to our website, you go to that for more information. This is when you apply for a student number, and we have a link as well for international students where we explain more information for them that they would need to know, where it explains about the application fees, choosing qualification, selection degrees, research focus areas, guidelines to prepare the research outline, all of those. Even when you've forgotten your student number, it is all there. All those links are there to assist you, and this all speaks to everything that I have already explained to you earlier on, so that you know that when you are stuck, you can go somewhere and get assisted. As a final slide, please note that mndd@unisa.ac email address, use it if you find yourself in trouble. It is your lifeline to the MND's space where, as indicated already, there are people who are designated to it on a daily basis. We'll make sure that you are assisted accordingly. When you are ready and want to start with your application, please visit our website, www.unisa.ac.za, and then start your journey with Unisa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Penny. I think there's about 3 questions. So Sam is asking, do you think it's a good idea to talk to lecturers in the academic department before applying for a PhD?
That's a brilliant way to actually start. You can do just that, because we've noticed that if you start liaising with the academic department, it is easy for you to understand what is required of you, and you can easily continue applying or preparing yourself, with ease, because you will have received guidelines on what is required of you. It is actually a good idea. We promote and support that.
Okay, thank you. And thank you also for Lindy responding in the chat. Then Mamaloko was asking about help with a research outline, if the academic department can help. Lindy has responded that the academic department will not help with a research outline, but that there are guidelines on the website that will assist with the preparation of the outline.
Yes, and let's also go to that link that is there. There is a link that we put up on the website. They can just go click on that link. It will guide them. It's a brilliant guideline that they can use. It helps a lot.
Then the final question for now is Victor is wondering, should I still apply even if I don't meet the percentage requirement for admission to a master's degree?
Lindy, has Lindy responded to that?
Not yet. Lindy, can we ask you to maybe respond to that question?
I'm trying to find the last question, but I can't seem to see. Is it at the last question or at the top? I can't see the last question. It's
at the bottom. It's from Victor.
And I can't. I don't know what's wrong with my laptop.
Please read it out for her, Lisa.
Okay, let me read it to you, Lindy. So Victor is asking, should I still apply even if I don't meet the percentage requirement for admission to a master's degree?
Okay, you can still, because we have alternative methods that we can use. For example, to meet the requirement, we can easily refer you to RPL, which is a recognition of prior learning. Please do submit your application, and then we will advise accordingly.
Okay, so the best is for the person then to apply, and then the M&D section will inform them about the alternative pathways that could possibly be followed.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, colleagues. Those are the only questions for now. But again, just from my side, to anyone who is participating, please keep on posting your questions. We could still have a few minutes after the sessions to attend to those. Thank you very much, Penny, as well as Lindy. I think it's quite comprehensive information that you shared. And Mando will now please help us to introduce the next speaker.
Thank you, Lisa. Perhaps before I can introduce the next speaker, perhaps it is important to also briefly explain the purpose of today. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole purpose of today is to help you to plan for the next step. At this point in time, for those who are in their final year of studies, it becomes very confusing for some as to what should I do next and how do I do it. So the whole reason why we organize this session, it was to help you to know that you have to plan for the next step. If you are pursuing postgrad studies after your degree or after your honors degree and you want to go into master's and doctoral program, that requires planning, as Penny and Lindy have taken us through their presentation. So it is very important to know so that at the beginning of the year, you are not wondering, what should I do, and be asking questions when the closing dates, when the application period has closed. It is to help you to prepare for the next step. The same with the next speaker, who will be taking us through the process and the planning that we need to do and what information we need for the next step for the honors program and postgraduate diploma registration. And Ms. Lihlohonolo Mashiteng, she will be helping students who are looking into employment, who want to start applying for employment. Why is it important to prepare for that as well? And she will take us through what we should be doing now in preparation for job search. So all these steps, they need us to prepare well in advance. As we go into exams, when we have a gap, we need to be thinking about this and be preparing ourselves. So that is what this session is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Now, introducing our next speaker, Ms. Prudence Mahlangu. Her career began in the Directorate for Counseling and Career Development at Unisa, where she worked as a career guidance practitioner. She thereafter joined the College of Graduate Studies as a student advisor for honors programs and postgraduate diplomas. To date, she is still in this role where she continues to serve with a passion. She finds pleasure in reading and serving others. Her favorite quote is, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted." She is also a graduate of Unisa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Prudence Mahlangu. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much, Mandu. Prudence, you are welcome to share your presentation with us.
Can everybody see it, Lisa?
Yes, you just need to go to full screen, but we can see it, thanks.
Yeah, I am on full screen now. Okay. Good day to my fellow colleagues and to our students and prospective students. As Ms. Makanya has stated, my name is Prudence Mahlangu and I'm a student advisor. I will be going through my presentation, giving you a broad understanding of honors and postgrad qualifications. Right. With this slide, I've noticed that a lot of students have a challenge maybe deciding which qualification to select, as they are not really sure of the differences between an honors qualification and a postgrad qualification. Now we can just first start with the similarities. Both honors and postgrad qualifications are on NQF level 8. The second similarity is that they both have 120 credits. Now, where is the difference? The difference is that with honors qualifications, students are required to register for and complete research modules as part of their curriculum. While with postgrad qualifications, research papers are not part of the curriculum. But bear in mind that they are both on the same NQF level and both weigh 120 credits. Now, what should students consider when deciding between the two, right? When they are not certain, when you guys are not certain if you want to do a postgrad qualification or an honors qualification. You first have to consider the requirements, as they do differ a bit, which I will discuss in my next slide. Second thing that you should consider is whether you wish to pursue your master's degree. This is because, as I mentioned in my previous slide, that postgrad qualifications do not have research modules. So this means that should you then pursue a postgrad qualification, then later you decide that I would also like to pursue my master's degree, you will need to then complete research modules. I would encourage students who are in this predicament to still apply for the master's, and then the master's section will then tell them their recommendation on how to go forth. But just bear that in mind when choosing between the two qualifications. Next, I would like to explain to the students the requirements. Our requirements are: you need to have an NQF level 7 qualification. This can be a degree, a BTech qualification, or an advanced diploma. You need to ensure that these qualifications are from an accredited institution. Second requirement is that you need to have relevant majors. For example, you wish to complete an honors degree in economics. You will need to ensure that in your third level, you have majored in economics. So often we find that students have majored with a particular module from their first year, second year, and when it comes to second year, they sometimes will choose to not do those modules anymore, and then they change their major. Remember that we look specifically at the third level major. The last requirement that we look for is an average of 60% in your third year. So we will be calculating all the modules that are your major, that are also relevant to your honors degree, add them, and then they need to give us an average of 60%. Now, what happens if you are not certain if you meet the admission requirements? Maybe you calculated your 60%, or you are not really certain about your major. Please ensure that you find out what your major is from first year. I always encourage students to always know their major from first year. But we always encourage students, even those who are not certain, to apply for admission and have their application assessed by the applications department, even in the cases where they are not certain, or like I mentioned, have calculated their average and it is not 60%. The reason is that in the event that your application gets declined, you will be given an opportunity to appeal that outcome. The appeal is to the academic department, and in the event that it is successful, they will then give their recommendation. Now, their recommendation can be either you will be given a certain number of NDP modules that you will need to complete in order for you to meet the admission requirements. But remember this, the recommendation needs to come from the academic department. A student cannot decide that they wish to complete NDP modules. You first need to apply. Then in the event that your application is declined, you will be then given permission to complete those NDP modules. So it's very essential that you apply for the qualification that you wish to complete. Now, another way that a student can ensure that they meet the admission requirements is applying via RPL. Now, RPL stands for Recognition of Prior Learning. This refers to work experience you might have that is relevant to the studies you wish to pursue. For example, a student is currently working in human resource, and would not like to obtain a postgrad qualification or an honors degree that is in line with their current position. You, as the student who is working in this position, can use your work experience to meet the admission requirements. Now, prior learning can be acquired in one or more of the following ways. It can be workplace learning, informal study, or recreational, personal interest purposes. It can be community work. It can be company or industry-based training, working with experts, or life experiences. This will then be assessed by an RPL-based panel. It may be assessed using the following forms. It can either be a challenge exam, an interview, a work-related project, or a portfolio that contains records of your experience, knowledge, and skills. So bear this in mind. Now, one of the most important aspects when it comes to applications that I feel like this one, students, prospective students, and also our current students need to take note of. Students should note that only full applications will be processed. Now, what does this mean? If you're an outside student, you have completed your undergrad qualification outside of Unisa, you need to ensure that you have the following documents and you upload them. If you have never applied before, please ensure that you pay the non-refundable application fee, which is currently 125 rands. Please note, if the application fee is not paid, unfortunately, your application will not be processed. And if we find that some of the required documents are not available, unfortunately, we will have to decline your application. However, should we decline, please note that with honors and postgrad, you are then given an opportunity to email any of the required documents. But I would encourage students to ensure that all these documents are uploaded first when they start applying. Now, the required documents are a certified copy of your ID, a certified copy of your matric certificate, an official, full and clear academic record if you completed your undergrad qualification outside of Unisa. You need to ensure that the academic record is official and that it is clear for us to see the marks, all the marks you have acquired. You also need to provide us with a proof of completed qualification. This can be a certified letter from your institution that states that you have completed your qualification or a copy of your certificate. Now, for international students, please ensure that you also upload your SAQA certificate. I would encourage students to apply for their SAQA certificate ahead of time, as often it does take a few weeks for you to receive the SAQA certificate. And unfortunately, in the event that the SAQA certificate is not available, we will then have to decline your application. The important notes that I feel like all students should take into consideration Even when you're a final year student, we often encounter students who say they did not apply because they were completing their qualification and they were not aware that they could apply. Please know that final year students may apply as long as they know that by 2023, they would have completed their undergrad qualifications. Now, also final year students are given some time to upload their proof of completed qualification. So for example, application closes, but then you receive your proof of completion by January. Please know that you will be given that time, right? Returning students must also know that correspondence from Unisa will be via their MyLife account. Please know that even if a number of years have passed and you were not particularly using your MyLife account, all you have to do is go to the MyLife Unisa website, and then you can claim your password. Only new students who have never received a student number, have never applied with us before, will be contacted via their private email. So please make note of that. It's very important. Like I previously explained, new students should ensure that the non-refundable application fee, which is 125, it is paid. Failure to pay the application fee means that we will not be able to process your application. Now, the application fee is only for new students. If you have paid it before, even if you never registered, it means that you do not need to pay again. Now, once admission is granted to new students, please ensure that you go through the Mooc. This is an induction to Unisa, and it is very vital. Another reason you should go through the Mooc is that you will not, let's say in the event that we grant you admission and we send you an offer, if you do not complete the Mooc, you will not be able to accept our offer. So that is very important. You need to make sure that you go through the Mooc. Another important thing that we also need to consider, the students, you need to consider this. Please familiarize yourself with major. We've encountered students who are not quite certain what their major is, and this poses some few challenges when now you wish to apply for an honors or postgrad qualification. One way of finding out what your major is, you can just go through your curriculum. Start from first year, second year. Most importantly, it will be your third year. Please take note of that. And as Ms. Penny explained before, all our applications are done on the Unisa website. So you need to ensure that you have internet access, as we will not be able to assist you with applications if you come and visit us at the campus. We may give you guidelines. However, when it comes to applications, everything has to be done online. I have also included important links that you guys can go through. And lastly, applications for 2023 academic year for honors and postgrad qualifications will be open from 1st September till 14th October. And then I would like to wish all our students and prospective students lots and lots of luck with their prospective studies and their upcoming exams. And thank you so much, Lisa, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Prudence. Again, a lot of information for students to consider. I'm just going to, I think there's about 2 or 3 questions.
Okay.
So if we could just take a look at the first one.
Yeah.
Is, can you still apply even though you do not meet the admission requirements.
Yes.
And Lindy indicated that you they need to consider the RPL route.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, in terms of the process, do you apply for admission to the honours degree and then you
Yes.
are referred to RPL?
Okay, so there are two ways. If you, let's say, the student feels like they do not meet admission requirements, they can still apply, because apart from the RPL path, right? Because that one deals more with your experience. Apart from the RPL path, with some qualifications, they are a bit lenient. So instead of wanting the 60% average, they can, in some cases, take 57 or, something like that. Now, the RPL, students will then apply, but they need to indicate, the system does give them an option to apply using the RPL. So they will see it when they apply.
Okay, thank you very much, Prudence. Then there's also, Kilebogile is just wondering, what is the Mooc that you mentioned?
Oh yeah, so Mooc is an induction to Unisa. It's an introduction to Unisa, so to speak, because you'll be coming and you'll be new. You need to have an introduction on how Unisa works, specifically as an ODL.
Thank you very much, Prudence. Again, to those who are attending, please continue to post your questions. We will make a few minutes afterwards available for further questions to be answered. I'm now going to ask Mrs. Makanya just to introduce our next speaker to us.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Our next and last speaker is Ms. Mashiteng. She is a qualified transport economist working for the National Department of Transport as Deputy Director, Trade and Transport Facilitation. Her work deals mostly with coordinating member states within South African Development Community, which is SADC, and she is responsible for leading bilateral negotiations and implementation of agreements on transport-related matters with different trading countries. Lehlohonolo is a graduate of Unisa, and she will be taking us through the process of job search, especially for those who are looking for employment after graduating. Over to you, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mandu. Leho, you are welcome to share your screen with us, or do you want me to do the presentation?
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hello? Oh, okay, thank you. I think I'm struggling because I signed in as anonymous, so it's refusing for me to use any other app. So I would appreciate that you flag the presentation and I would lead you as I go through it.
Okay, no problem. It is
that all right?
on the screen now. Thank you, Leho.
Okay, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you so much for this opportunity to be presenting to you on how to prepare for a job search for our third-year students. Next slide. My presentation will be covering issues pertaining to self-awareness, matters on soft skills that employers are looking for, and I'll also share on how to prepare for a job search and to also share on the importance of networking. And then lastly, I will share about how to conduct an information interview as a plan to prepare for the next step in getting into the job market. Next slide, please. Okay, I thought that I should share briefly about self-awareness to the students, that in preparation for the next step, I think self-awareness for our graduates, for our final year students, is very important. Matters pertaining to identifying strengths and weaknesses is very important. Being able to know from the onset as to what drives you as an individual is very necessary to know what excites you, what interests you, what motivates you. Matters on behavioral issues. You know, when you enter into the job market, you'll be interacting with different people having different behavioral responses. So it's very important that you know yourself and you know how to control your behaviors when you're with people and also by yourself, your internal behavioral traits or how you display yourself. It's very important to have knowledge, you know, to have content on subject matters, because when you are entering the job space, you need to sound knowledgeable. You need to have the knowledge, the content of what you have studied. So it's very important that, you know, factual information is always at the tip of your tongue. You are able to engage on factual issues that are affecting the areas that you are interested in. And as part of self-awareness, being in touch with our feelings, it's very cardinal, because, you know, when you are working within in any work environment, you interact with diverse people, you interact with different people coming from diverse cultures, diverse different ways of upbringings, and having control over your feelings, you know, feelings of rage, you must be able to control it. Irritations, for example, you must be able to have control over it. And coming to ego now, you know, ego is about how you look at yourself. It's like how you think. Ego is negative and also positive, because you can have a positive ego that says, you know, my outlook is always positive. And there's that negative ego that always say, I think I'm smarter than everybody. And that is related to pride. Having control over your thoughts as an individual is also necessary, because in any work environment, positive thinking is very key. So even if you're having negative thought, but you must always make it a habit to always think positively, no matter how pressurizing the environment may be, no matter how frustrating, no matter how, it doesn't matter what circumstances you'll be, but it's very necessary that you have control of positive thoughts and you're always encouraging yourself to think positively. When it comes to communication, you need to be able to express yourself in a way that is positive, you know, positive communication skills. But communication also boils down to being able to communicate, whether it's in verbal state or in a written state. So your strengths, you must be able to say, I'm aware that my strength in communication lies in me being able to write down an email and actualize my points on an email and to effectively communicate to the next person. And also for other people, I can communicate more verbally to a person than me writing down things on pen and paper. So it's very important that the strength that you have, you must be able to clearly identify in line with how you communicate. And also when coming to relationships, I think it's key that in any environment, work environment, there's relationships that we need to manage. Your relationship with your employer, relationship with your colleagues, it's very important that you always maintain good relationships. With the skills, we'll be discussing a lot more on skills later on in my presentation, but it's for self-awareness. It's very good that you can articulate your skills without even having to think twice or to scratch your head. Like, for example, I can say I'm a good project manager, and that is my skill. When it comes to issues of collaborating, when it comes to issues of coordinating, when it comes to issues of, you know, bringing people together to ensure that the project is done from multifaceted functions, that is my skill. So I'm just encouraging you that you need to readily identify what your skill is, be it organizational skills, be it planning skills, be it time management. It must just be readily be displayed or be able to articulate how you are skilled as an individual. And with experiences, I would like to encourage students that every experience matters, whether bad or good. It gives us and it enables us to draw lessons from bad experiences, even good experiences. We draw lessons on how we can improve on them. Coming to strengths and weaknesses, I think that one it's straightforward to say you must be able to articulate what your strengths are as an individual, and also be able to acknowledge what your weaknesses are as an individual. So this, I wanted to just give it as a highlight to say, whenever you enter into a job market, self-awareness, self-knowledge, it's very important, because when you know what your values are, when you know what you stand for, no one will be able to can influence you in other ways. Next slide, Lisa. I wanted to touch on the soft skills that employers are looking for. And these are the skills that I think graduates must have. On the top right-hand side, the slide shows the top 10 soft skills of the IT world. But it's not only for IT. I don't want you to focus on IT, but it cuts across different spheres, different career paths. And I'm just going to highlight, extract few of the soft skills that are trending at this point. Issue of emotional intelligence, it's very key. You know, emotional intelligence, it's one of those critical skills. Now organizations are delving more and investing more on their employees to be receptive or to be able to be emotionally intelligent. It's not a skill that you just acquire, but you can learn it. So if you check on the 5 components of the emotional, what constitutes emotional intelligence, it touches on your social skills, being able to create and maintain a healthy relationship, being able to make decisions, ability to make responsible choices and accept and take responsibility and be accountable for whatever outcomes. Being self-aware, I've already opened my statements on issues of self-awareness. The knowledge of one's own thoughts, feelings, and motivation is part of emotional components of the emotional intelligence. Self-regulation, the ability to regulate emotions and actions in a variety of environments. You know, when I spoke about being able to control your thoughts earlier on, being able to control your feelings. So there must be a cardinal point wherein, as part of your soft skills, you're able to self-regulate. You know, you're controlling how you respond, you know, how your feelings are displayed, or how your feelings are, how you express your feelings to people. So the emotional intelligence aspect is such is very high, more than the IQ aspect. Issues of collaboration and teamwork. We are working in you know, one cannot a project or embark on a process alone. You might have the strength of being an individual and working by yourself, but it's very necessary that we work in a collaborated effort and in a way of having different teams, everyone contributing meaningfully on the things, the capabilities that they have. So in dealing with soft skills, some other people would say, I don't want to work with people, but this one is unavoidable, because every project, every outcome that we have, it's a process. It requires different levels, different interactions, and different influences, you know, to the process. So it's very key. The other one that I want to single out is creativity. The generation that we are at now, our generation, or you as the upcoming final year students, you need creativity as a skill. Innovation is key. You know, creativity allows you to explore things that are to explore and question the status quo. So in having these kinds of soft skills, it actually enables you to can shine. It actually makes you, it gives you an opportunity to can explore, to think outside the box. Issues of critical thinking and problem solving, because critical thinking is very key, as well as problem. We are always encountering problems. The problems that we are having need to be solved. We cannot just stay with unsolvable problems. So, and we really need this kind of soft skill. The last one that I want to touch on is project management. Every organization that you can go to, though I don't know if there's any organization that does not deal with projects. Projects are time bound. They're having areas of responsibility. They have set outcomes. They have set deliverables. They have set objectives. They have set impacts. So in project management, you must enhance your skills. in being able to know what is involved when in being involved in project management. You must know what is required when you are to have that skill of being a project manager. Be it at a basic level, because everything, you know, we learn every day of our lives, but you must just have that basic project management skills. So I think we can go to the next slide, Lisa. So now coming to preparing for a job search. Your job search, it requires sales and marketing skills. There's no way you can say you are preparing yourself for a job and then it doesn't entail marketing yourself or selling yourself, basically selling what you are capable of doing. If you look on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, the preparation process for the job search, it does require a thorough compilation of a CV. I've heard from human resource and selection units that they say people that are very scratchy when they develop their CV. So just that minor mistake, it just can put you off the red list. You know, they say how they filter their CVs, because sometimes they're inundated with a number, thousands and thousands of CVs. So they say the filtering of getting to the final candidates that will be selected to be invited for interviews. They say any CV that is not thoroughly prepared, thoroughly drafted, lots of mistakes or not making sense, not flowing, they just chuck it out to the rejection list. And that's how they filter, you know, until they get to the number that they can work with, that they will be taking for shortlisting and for interview invitation. So I'm encouraging you that when you are developing your CV, be as thorough and be as precise and be as meticulous as possible. One thing that I was advised is that when you are drafting a CV, having a write-up of a profile attached to your CV, it does give a summary, because they say some of the CVs, they don't really make sense. They might not even be relevant to what you've applied for. But the moment you write a small profile, summarizing all your skills, your capabilities, your achievement, and your successes in that small paragraph, a paragraph or two in a profile, it actually gives the reader an appreciation of what makes you or who you are as a person. So my advice to you is that when you are compiling your CV, make sure that it has a profile, a summary of who you are on top of it. And I did already mention that knowing your skills, your strengths and weaknesses is very key. That is when you are preparing yourself for a job search, because people will always ask, what makes you, what drives you, what are your strengths, what are you capable of doing? So those things must be at the tip of your tongue. Like, for instance, when you go for interviews, I know a lot of people, they cringe when they hear those questions, because the first question is always like, what makes you as a person, or tell us, I don't know if they're still asking, tell us about yourself, but the latest ones that I've attended, being a panel member, they've asked what makes you as a person. It's like, who are you? And you need to readily articulate who are you, be able to can define your dreams, be able to define your path, where you're going, what you have, what you intend to achieve. It must always be at the top of your tongue. And most importantly, your personal conduct and presentation is very key. Whether you're preparing for interviews or you as a final year student in general, your personal conduct must change. The way you address yourself, the way you present yourself, it must change, because preparation starts now. It doesn't start when the time comes for you starting to undergo interview processes. It has to be a progression. So the sooner you start, when your personal conduct, the way you conduct yourself, the way you present yourself, the way you dress up, it matters, because it's a progression for preparing yourself for the job market. And most importantly is that you need to conduct as much research as possible for the potential employers that interest you. It's very interesting when, you must always be in sync, so that you are intact, you are always connected to the information that your potential company or potential employee or that company that interests you. You must always follow them. Luckily now we have social media platforms where you can just send a link that when they share information, you automatically get updates of what they're doing, so that you're getting connected and prepared about information on what your company is currently doing. If you look on the left-hand side, I want to indicate to you that, yeah, the market out there is very competitive. Yes, you see yourself graduating within the next year or so, and you see yourself scoring a good job, but you need to shine because there's many competitors. I've indicated that when applications go out, the responses are overwhelming. So in responding, you must really shine. And how do you shine? I've indicated the processes that you must be meticulous in your compilation of your CV. If you get invited for an interview, you must just make sure that you shine. I want to advise that please don't undermine menial jobs, jobs such as volunteering. Volunteering gives you a great opportunity for gaining experience, much as sadly, it doesn't have monetary benefits, but it does give you an opportunity to explore and to enrich yourself. And also you get opportunity to learn things that you did not know. I want to encourage you that you must spread your wings, and I want to talk to the local people. Normally, we find South Africans, unfortunately, they're not partakers in the global space. They're not having interest in even applying for jobs, even just within SADC, for example, not even outside the continent. So I'm just encouraging you as final year students that spread your wings. There's international and global opportunities for jobs out there. And I'm just saying that open your thinking, not to look within the country, but look outside the country, because there is a demand for many fields that some of you will currently later on be acquiring. So from my side, I'm saying, please, let's not be domestic, think international, and it's all possible. Thank you, Liz. Can we go to the next slide? Oh, skip this one, it was an error. Sorry. Okay. So I found these slides to be quite interesting. If you look on the left-hand side, there are 5 job seeker tips to get you started. Number 1, it says, build a social presence, maintain an up-to-date profile that presents you professionally. So when you are part of your seeking a job, your presence, social media, how you engage, how you put your status as who you are, you must carefully construct it so that it represents you professionally. So don't be careless, don't be freely, but try to compact your profile to be as professional as possible in all your social media platforms. It's very important that you connect with professionals in your field. There's many online platforms, social media platforms to connect with, with a community of practitioners in various fields who can share light on what is currently happening in your related field that you're currently studying for. So follow companies you are interested in or you are interested in working for. That is very key. And social media platform, I've already indicated, they will give you wealth of info. There's a plethora of information on these networks. On the networking aspect, talk to your friends, family, seek advice from them. But I think for me, joining professional and industry groups, it's very key. I've already shared about the issue of volunteering. Volunteering helps a lot. Much as it doesn't have benefits, but it opens your eye, because right now I don't think you're overly exposed. So if you were to go to many companies or volunteer into a company, you'll be open up to another world that you never even envisaged that even exists. Request information meetings with key people at companies you are interested in. This aspect, I'll be sharing it with you later on. This, they call it information conversations, or some they call it information interviews with the companies that you're interested in. Number 3, you must do your research. You must research, follow companies that you would like to work for. learn from professionals who have interesting careers. Learn about the recruiters or hiring managers for position you would like. There's nothing wrong when you ask. There's nothing wrong to ask about information. And information right now is highly accessible through emails and other forms of communication platforms. So, but basically what I want to hammer on is that research is very key. I've had, when you're doing your research, I've had when I've been part of some of the interviews, you ask people, it's like candidates don't even prepare themselves to even, you know, to find out what is the company all about, you know, the vision, not even the vision, but what the projects they're doing, what entities or whom they're working with, or what their priorities are. So information such as that, it will help you as part of your research to have an embrace and for you to get excited as well. Because if you are researching about a particular company that interests you, it will get you excited, because that will keep your hope, that will keep your zeal, and that will keep you motivated. Develop new skills. Skills are acquired on a daily basis. We learn new things all the time. So don't be rigid. Acquiring new things, don't limit yourself on that. So I've just shared with you that the most skill now, the emotional intelligence skill, it's very it's ranking high now. When I've checked on the research, that new skills, you know, don't limit yourself. Keep on acquiring skills that you feel that you don't need, so that you enrich and develop yourself as an individual. This one, the last one, talks about building your resume. I've already shared about it. On the right-hand side here, it's just a summary of 5 steps for a positive job search. I've already indicated that you must explore your interests. So self-knowledge, you must know what your personality is. You must know yourself, so that when you're applying for a job, you can already see yourself, you can already see your attributes being expressed in that particular job. So the researching of a company, I've already indicated that you must know a thing or two about the company that you're interested in, and being able to express yourself on paper. Ensure that you put most relevant information. You know, don't undermine small things. Like right now, if I were to ask if 1 or 2 students, final year students, because you're a Unisa student, 1 skill or 2 that you've acquired is that you know you are able to work independently and you are able to meet deadlines. That is a critical skill. And it's not for you, because you were trained, because Unisa is a corresponding institution. And as it is now, you know how to do time management. Express that time management is a skill, and it's a very critical skill, because everything that gets done, it gets done through proper management of time. So the skill of being able to can take initiative. You've been initiating plans to say, I need by this time, I need to get this done. That shows on itself that it's, and being able to can initiate, being able to can respond to instructions, because that's what you have been doing. So I'm just saying, don't undermine skills that you have been gradually acquiring ever since you've been through this institution, because you've been acquiring a number of skills. Today, you know that you have to pitch up for an exam. You know that you have to submit your assignment on time. You know how to meet deadline, which is very critical, because not being able to meet deadline, it's about, it either affects your profit, or it either makes you to be non-compliant. So that on its own, I'm just encouraging you that see those small steps that you've been taking as critical skills. Lizelle, I think Lisa, we can move to the next slide. Okay, I wanted to share here the benefits of networking. You know, when you're networking, you're learning from other people who have followed similar paths. And you're also connecting to potential employers. Remember when I said networking can happen in different forms. You being on an online platform, LinkedIn or so, you are actually networking. You are networking with a community of practitioners, like being part of a broad community. You are able to advertise yourself and your endeavors in when you are networking, like platforms that I've already shared. And also I think when you are networking, you get an embrace and an understanding of the context of a field that is different from you. Because obviously, some of you might be studying for certain things, but you might not land there. So have an appreciation that of other fields that you might be exposed to. Lisa, please let's move to the next one. Okay, I think here I wanted to come to sharing about as part of the job searching process. There is I don't know if it's a process or an activity that you can embark on, which is called information interviews. I learned about it when I was in my final year in Unisa. I learned about the successes and the potential for landing a good job through conducting information interviews. Currently, that's them as information conversations, because they say once you put interview there, then everybody starts getting nervous and anxiety kicks in. So they term them as synonymously as information conversation. So these information / interview / conversation, it's all about you identifying a company that interests you, that you see yourself having an interest in, and then you identify I recommend that you identify a senior most person in the company who is possibly a decision maker, who can afford you an opportunity to take you through what their company is about, what their company is doing, and how you see yourself and how you would like them to help you in exploring opportunities and also helping you to, see on how to improve yourself, for future jobs and so forth. Future readiness, I could put it that way. So in conducting these interviews, these questions that I'm having, question number 1 to 5, these are the questions that I used when I to the information interview. Of course, there's other questions that you can add on to, but most importantly, it's all about you asking a particular person about how they have done it, and then asking them how they can help you to follow the same path, more or less. I hope you're with me. So in conducting this the information interview, normally, I've seen that you would approach a company. Let's say you're approaching a CEO of a company, and then you schedule an appointment. You arrange for a meeting to meet with them. I advise not to arrange a virtual meeting, a face-to-face interview session with the CEO or the MD or the executive is ideal than a virtual session. And in that interview, you are going to have interest in them as to how did they make it to get to where they are. And these are the questions that you would potentially ask. You would say, could you walk me through your career path? Starting with the experiences, name where they started, the college where they started. And please share your internship and the jobs that you've had before your current role, the current position. One thing that I've learned, when you're having interest in a person, asking them about who they are, oh my goodness, people, they would lighten up because you're taking interest in knowing how they made it. And any person would gladly share how they built that company from scratch from nothing to what it is now. Then when you ask a person, when you delve into their internal things, like asking them personal, internal, people always love to talk about successes. So when you ask Mr. So-and-so, the CEO of a company, I promise you, they would expand. They would go on about how they did their job, how they succeeded in creating this business and so forth. But most importantly, as you conduct the information interview, You must be engaged. You must show interest. Even if they're bothering you, you must show interest that you are listening. Be attentive to every single thing that they are saying and take note, by the way. Make a note of everything that they are saying. And in response, you'll be saying, oh, okay, I hear you, I understand. And then you would share what you know about their job duties, so that it becomes a conversational kind of a interaction. And you ask, can you provide more details about what your typical day, your peak times, your frustrating times, your successful times, the time where you see your achievements. You ask questions like that, because a person would respond more positively when you're asking about things that make them look good. And number 3, would ask which skills are most important for a job like yours. Obviously, in the skills, you will also share that, no, I want to enhance my skills on this. If they mention skills that you don't have, and so forth. So you make it more conversational. So depending on the kind of person that you would be meeting, but try to prepare as much as you can. And then number 4 is you ask, what do you think is the best way to earn an internship or a job in this industry or at this company? You're asking questions like that. It's like, you would say, I am currently doing my final year studies and I'm going to be graduating in whatever time. And I'm looking that I'm interested in this kind of job or whatever function that there is in their company and so forth. So it will be very conversational. Be open and transparent as much as you can. And the 5th question, it says, I'm really interested in speaking with people in your field, in X field or Y field or at the Z company. You ask, who else would you recommend that I can connect with within the, as a CEO, they don't have time to be entertaining you as a final year student, because you paid requesting for their audience and asking them about how they made it in life and asking them that, how can I also be assisted? They would gladly assist you. They would gladly afford you an opportunity to explore, to see what is happening in the different functions within an organization. I hope this is clear. But information interview require you to be extremely research. You must really research the organization that you are going to be pursuing. Next slide, Lisa. I wanted to share my personal experience with the conversation interviews. One thing that I wanted to highlight is that when you are conducting these personal interviews, you really need persistence. Persistence. And I'll tell you why. You also need to have confidence and resilience. In that, why I'm saying resilience, you need to be able to bounce back from disappointment, because here you are, you'll be so eager, so excited that I'm going to appraise, and then they disappoint you dismally, like you will drop from 10 to 0. So you must be very, very resilient. Why I'm saying persistence, remember, you're going to have to approach a company and you're going to have to set up time and request, you write a letter to say, I'm so-and-so, I'm about to graduate, I'm interested in this and that, I would like to have an opportunity to meet with your good self. I'm proposing you in the letter. I think with me, in the letter you propose, these are the dates that I would propose, but however you can request them to give you whichever dates that are suitable for them. Persistence, why I'm saying that, remember the MD or the CEO has a PA. Normally, the PAs or other people that are surrounding the office of the CEO, the office of the executive, they are always gatekeepers. Some might even just shove your email to the wayside. So persistence meaning when you first send that email of requesting the audience of Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, the executive or CEO, you need to continuously make follow-up to say, have they received the email? So that persistence, it can take months. Because remember, for now, you are a nobody. You are an aspirant person, wishing to be the best, wanting everything that is good, but then you need just a bit of recognition. So persistence in getting recognized to get audience of a CEO, it will. So I want to encourage you that persist, no matter how long it takes. Remember, you don't have to write to one CEO. There can be a number. You can write to 5 CEO and see what the response is. with my experience, I wrote to 2 companies. One was a private company dealing with trade and logistics. And then, no, it was not 2 companies. One was private and one was public sector. And then I wrote to the municipal manager at the city of Tshwane. And that was in 2006. I wrote the letter and sent them respectively, same date, simultaneously. And then I was told by the other company that no, they can't afford me the opportunity. He went overseas and they don't know Mr. Whoever from Trade Logistics of City of Tshwane, because I was like, I'm interested in transport-related opportunities within the municipality. And then after 3 months, I received a response. After persisting, hence I'm saying persistence is key. Making regular follow-ups with the PA, I ended up getting not a personal, an email directly to the MM to see if can't I get a response. Fortunately, I received a response to say, come on this day, and yeah. And so now when they invite you, now you must be ready. I've already shared with you the questions. For me, already I knew, I had already read all the strategic plans. I've already identified what the gaps were that I felt that I could contribute. When I had that information interview, you know, having made him feel good about himself and his successes, and then we shared the gaps that were existing. Later on, during the information interview session, I was like, when I asked, can you take me to the fields that are related to transport? They took me to a field that was related. It was an engineer. And then the engineer was like, no, showing me around what they do in transport-related functions that they are there within the municipality. Within no time, they said, no, there's a meeting. Come to a meeting. I joined them to a meeting. It was a meeting with several consultants doing the BRT system, the bus rapid transit system. And after that, you know, to cut the story short, colleagues, after being exposed, you know, when you're in a meeting, you just listen in. Hey, obviously, I could not raise my hand, ask questions. I just sit and listen in because I was given an opportunity to sit in a meeting and they're talking about the bus rapid transport, which I do not know. Now I'm getting exposed to things that I don't even know what they're going to do. But then you learn. Every opportunity is a learning opportunity. Later on, in a week's time, to my surprise, the company that was there, they gave me a call to say they would like to invite me to an interview. They got reference because I networked. Remember, this is it's part of a networking activity. They got contacts from the guy who took me to the meeting because that guy, he just referred to say the MM referred me to him. So you see the power of influence. That's why I'm saying when you're doing this, don't go to a supervisor to do an information interview. Don't go to any other person who does not make decisions. That is the rule. You go only to the people who are able to make decisions to say, take so-and-so to that unit, take so-and-so and work with them for the next coming 3 hours or so. That will have an impact. But you know, supervisors are gatekeepers. They're not decision. They're there to make sure operations are just overflowing. So with that, colleagues, I landed myself a job after having done an information interview. And for me, ever since I've seen the power of information interview, that they do yield positive results in landing you a job. So that is my personal experience with the information interview. Can we go to the next slide? I'm almost done. I want to share with you, the students, that don't forget to dream. Keep on dreaming it, that thing that is in you. Keep on dreaming it and make it happen. All your dreams will come true if we have the courage to pursue them. If you don't pursue, they will never come to life. There's a say by Leon Joseph Cardinal. He says, happy are those who dream dreams and are willing to pay the price to make them come true. Nothing comes easily. You have to work for it. So I'm just saying to you, don't forget to dream. That thing that is in your heart, that thing that you really desire with all your life, with every fiber in you, dream it and make sure you pursue it. Next slide. This is my next slide. I want to say to everybody that the world is waiting for you. And I thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much for a very comprehensive overview of how especially a final year student can start thinking about planning their next steps. I did realize that we are running a bit over time, but there are two questions that I thought we could, maybe just take a minute or two to answer. So Sindile was asking, how can I practice to be more confident about marketing myself to employers?
Oh, okay, I must answer that.
Well, your personal, maybe talking from personal experience, or just some like starting points where one could start to practice to be more confident in these marketing efforts.
I would like to say, when I started, I was like, believe in yourself. For me, I would want to say, believe in yourself that you can do it. Just that, if one can believe that you can do it, you can go through that interview session and be confident that you're going to nail it. If you believe it, for me, I feel like if you believe in yourself and believe that you can do it, that you can't afford to fail, I think that will help. They say fake it till you make it, Lisa. Yeah, that's my response. It might sound somehow, but believe it. Believe that you can. Believe in yourself.
Thank you. And then there's the last question for you. Martin was asking if you have any specific ideas for how I can gain more self-awareness.
Okay. I think when I started with the self-awareness slide, it touches on many other attributes, it touched on skills. It touched on being able to have self-knowledge of what your strengths and weaknesses are. It's that about you recognizing that, oh, I'm actually good at this, or, oh, I can actually work towards perfecting the skill. That can actually contribute towards you being aware that, awakening to the idea that you are able to can do, you can communicate effectively, or you're a communicator, or you are a good organizer, things like that. So it's all about you awakening, realizing that, oh, but I've done this. And I think one thing that can help, if you see certain patterns that of you doing things, you check and you recognize that, but I've been doing this over and over and I've been succeeding, then try to elevate it and amplify it and say, but hang on, like now, issues of time management, just to talk, vaguely, issues of time management, being a student here, managing your time. So for me, that on its own, if one can amplify it to say, but I'm good at managing time, squeezing whatever pressures that are coming through and being able to live a normal life, it's giving you an idea there that you are good with this, and that. Yes, Lisa.
Thank you very
I submit.
much. Yeah, that was the last question, but again, thank you very much for your contribution. I'm just going to highlight a thank you very much to our colleagues, Prudence, Lindy and Penny. They've been responding to further questions in the Q&A. So I really want to thank them. There were questions about somebody who has come or is in their final year of doing a BA degree, and they are wanting to become a teacher. So Prudence also just pointed out that the postgraduate education certificate would be the most appropriate qualification for somebody who has a degree and now wants to become a teacher. And then, oh, this one last question, maybe just for Lethlo. Sindile was asking, is it very important for me to have a good LinkedIn profile?
I would like to say yes, it's very good that you have a good LinkedIn profile, because many people are, always engaging on this platform, and there's always referral. It's like it tags you. If you know me and I happen to tag you, it will link you. And people are always looking for people, because your profile will state what you are qualified in, what your expertise are, what your skills are. And employers, when they go to LinkedIn, they would look specifically for those people who've said that they have these kinds of skills. So the more comprehensive your profile is, the more it gives an idea to the employer of the kinds of attributes that they're looking for. They would be able to get answers through a clearly defined, well-constructed, comprehensive LinkedIn profile. So if you are if you are limiting yourself with expanding on what you are, how capable are you on certain things, your skills, it doesn't offer them an opportunity to match you with what they're looking for. So the more you become comprehensive with your profile, your details, your achievements, your successes, all kinds of information pertaining to what makes you as a person, the more it gives an idea to employers who are in, because nowadays some of them, they no longer advertise their posts. They just go to LinkedIn and then they look for those candidates that are having their relative qualifications that they're looking for, and they also match it with the skill set as well as the experience. So that is very critical to include in your LinkedIn profile. So the more comprehensive you are, it adds to your advantage.
Thank you very much, Claire. So just from our side, I want to thank everyone who attended. We would really love to know how you experienced today's presentation. What did you learn? What else do you need to know? You are welcome to send us any follow-up comments or questions that you have about the topics that were discussed. My email address is on the screen, as well as the email address for my colleague, Mrs. Mandu Makanya. And we will also be posting a recording of this presentation on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Unisa Careers. So you will be able to find a recording of this session as well as any previous ones that we've had on our YouTube channel. I just want to welcome my colleague, Mr. Becky Mzoge. He's just going to end off the session for us. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and good day, everyone. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this event. As now we come to the end of this session, on behalf of the organizing team from Directorate of Counseling and Career Development, and from our audience, I thank all the speakers for an excellent presentation and for all valuable information they shared with us. This information will go a long way towards assisting final year students on planning for their next career steps. Thank you so much, colleagues. I also extend thanks to Lisa Dazel for facilitating this session smoothly. Thank you so much, Lisa. A further big thanks to Ms. Makanya, who is the initiator and the backbone of organizing these events. Thank you so much, Mrs. Makanya, for your hard work. Finally, I thank all people who attended today. And please keep on checking adverts for future events on my Unisa. I thank every one of you who's being part of this session and making it a success. Thank you so much. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you very much, Becky. Again, a final thank you to all of you who made the time to attend. And please remember to go and join our YouTube channel to go and watch this presentation as well as others. We hope you have a very good day further. Thank you.